How's it going on this glorious Tuesday? Definitely overcast here in Austin, Texas. In case you don't know, I'm talking about the ruling the Supreme Court made the other day, saying that the federal government has the authority to remove Constantine wire, allowing immigrants to flow in unchecked, and Texas should just deal with it while the court case is pending. Now, they didn't say that Texas was in the wrong. They just said that the Border Patrol can remove concertina wire, barbed wire from the border and be able to cut it whenever they need to or whenever they want to on the behest of Joe Biden. But the case is still ongoing from what I understand. Now, I may be wrong and I may read the story that says otherwise, but Chip Roy, which is a House of Representative here in Texas, very much told Texas should just ignore the ruling and continue blocking Border Patrol because clearly the federal government has no desire to stem the flow of immigration that's overwhelming our border towns. So I'm going to go to my favorite site here, which is ground.news. This was published 7 hours ago, updated 57 minutes ago. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of President Joe Biden allowing federal Border Patrol agents to remove razor wire that were installed by Texas along the U.S.-Mexican border. Texas Governor Greg Abbott plans to continue defending the state's constitutional authority to secure the border that he believes that the razor wire is effective deterrent to illegal crossings. The Supreme Court ruling was based on precedents that the federal government has sole authority to control the border and regulate immigration. So my question is, what should states do when the federal government fails to do their job? It's a simple question I haven't got an answer to. Should we just say, sorry, just go ahead and let the immigration, illegal crossings ruin this great state of Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, because we don't have the authority to deter people from coming over other than the outside the port of entries? Should we just put our tail between our legs and say, all right, the federal government is here, it's their job, there's nothing we can do? Or do we fight back? Or maybe we should just leave the union once and for all. I don't say that lightly because I don't think it's going to turn out the way that everybody thinks it's going to turn out. But that is a card that should be on the table. That is an option that should be on the table. Because clearly the federal government is failing to uphold its duty to protect American citizens, to protect Texans. More importantly, its own border. So this frustrates me. Mainly because I'm in Texas. Don't get me wrong. I do have a bias towards Texas because I live here. I grew up here. But the question still stands. What should a state do when the federal government fails to uphold their end of the deal? It's a simple question that no one's been able to answer. So according to thehill.com by Lauren Irwin, posted January 23rd, 24 at 12:32 p.m. Eastern Time. Chip Roy, Texas should ignore the Supreme Court's border razor wire ruling. I can't agree with him. I mean, we got to make a stand somehow. Let the president do a power move to remove the National Guard's authority by federalizing them under the presidential powers, because the president can do that. Let the federal government pay for our National Guard and remove the authority of our governor to Joe Biden. Let them send that message, because that'll be a powerful message. It may cost Joe Biden the presidency, which is all good and dandy, but he does have that power to call up the Texas National Guard under his authority and remove the powers from Greg Abbott. It's definitely something that he could do. And it's probably something they're floating, but he probably doesn't want to do that because it'd probably be political suicide and might kick off a civil war. Rep. Chip Roy, Republican Texas, calls on the Texas officials to ignore the recent Supreme Court ruling declaring the federal government could remove the razor wire on the U.S.-Mexican border. They have the duty under the Constitution and every other norm of the leadership of any sovereign state to protect your citizens, period. Full stop. There's no exception to that, Roy told Fox News Digital on Tuesday. And if the Supreme Court wants to ignore the truth, which a slim majority did, Texas still has the duty, Texas leaders still have the duty to defend their people. In a 5-4 Supreme Court decision Monday allowed the federal government to remove razor wire from the border wall, on the border wall placed by Texas law enforcement. And the argument argued that the wire illegally prevented them from managing the border. You're not managing shit. You're just letting them flow through. You're closing legal ports of entry to deal with the influx of migration outside of the ports of entry. People are illegally crossing this border. You're not even turning them away. So once again, I keep on asking the question, what should the state of Texas be doing when the federal government fails to do their job? It's a simple question I haven't been able to get an answer to. The conflict escalated earlier this month when Texas National Guard and the Texas Department of Public Safety erected fences and razor wire in Eagle Pass, a Texas popular spot for migrants to cross the United States. Texas law enforcement prevents the U.S. border from accessing the area, which Border Patrol said it was prevented from saving the life of a mother and 2 children who drowned in the Rio Grande. From my understanding, from stories I read, they were already dead when the Border Patrol came up to Texas and said, we need access. It was already reported that Mexico found the bodies by the time that they came. Let's see here. Texas lawmaker has called on the members of congressional delegations to oppose funding to the Department of Homeland Security or any entry facilitating this brazen violation of security and welfare of Texans. It's like if someone's breaking into your house and the court says, oh, sorry, you can't defend yourself. What do you tell the court, Roy said? You tell the court to go to hell and defend yourself and then figure it out later. Like I said, this is very frustrating because the state of Texas is trying to do everything it legally can, maybe optically bad, but everything it legally can to stem the flow of illegal immigration outside the port of entries. And the federal government's coming in saying, you can't do that. That falls under our authority. You can't do that. Now you need to stop and let us do our job. And our job is not preventing the immigration from happening. We're going to just process them, and maybe down the road we'll kick them out when their asylum case gets heard. But until they have their due process in the court of law, which, by the way, we don't have enough judges, so we need more judges. That's their excuse to not secure our freaking border, is we need more judges. We need more judges to handle the cases instead of stemming the flow of immigration so the judges can get caught up. They want these people here. They want to overflow America with immigration for some stupid reason. I don't know what the reason is. There's conspiracy theories out there. They may be true. They may not be true. I'm not going to get into that because I don't have the facts in front of me. And I'm definitely speculating as an opinion that they want all this immigration crisis to continue. Because if they didn't, they would have stopped the flow of immigration by now. Just saying, the evidence is not on their side to say otherwise. That being said, leave a comment down below what your thoughts are. And if you have an answer to my question, what should states like Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California be doing when the federal government fails to protect our border? What rights do we have to protect our border from Mexico when the federal government is refusing to do that job? I want an answer to that question because I honestly don't know. With that being said, Have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.